Gravity is a force that pulls everything together. It's why we stick to the earth and don't float away. Gravity is what makes things fall down. It's a pretty big deal. Without gravity, our world would be very different. Imagine a world where gravity is twice as strong as we're used to. Everything would be twice as heavy. This would have some crazy effects on our bodies, buildings, and even the plants and animals around us. Our bodies are adapted to Earth's gravity. This means that every aspect of our physiology, from our muscles to our bones, has evolved to function optimally under the gravitational pull we experience on our planet. We often take this for granted because it's the only environment we've ever known. If gravity were suddenly twice as strong, we'd feel the difference. Imagine waking up one morning and feeling an invisible force pressing down on you, making every movement a struggle. The simple act of getting out of bed would feel like lifting a heavy weight. Our bodies, which are finely tuned to Earth's current gravity, would be under immense stress. We would feel much heavier. Every step would require more effort, and activities that once seemed effortless would become challenging. Carrying groceries, climbing stairs, or even just standing up would feel like a workout. Our muscles would be constantly engaged, trying to counteract the increased gravitational pull. It would be like carrying an extra copy of ourselves everywhere we go. Imagine the strain on your back, shoulders, and legs. This additional weight would put a significant burden on our skeletal system, potentially leading to joint pain and other musculoskeletal issues over time. Our hearts would have to work harder to pump blood throughout our bodies. The increased gravitational force would make it more difficult for blood to circulate, especially to our extremities. This could lead to higher blood pressure and increased risk of cardiovascular problems. Our entire circulatory system would be under greater strain, requiring our heart to beat faster and stronger. Our bones and muscles would need to be much stronger to support our weight. Over time, our bodies might adapt by increasing bone density and muscle mass, but this would require significant energy and resources. The process of adaptation would be slow and challenging, and not everyone might be able to cope with the changes. Even simple tasks like walking and standing would become more difficult. Our balance and coordination would be affected, making us more prone to falls and injuries. Everyday activities that we take for granted, like bending down to pick something up or reaching for an object on a shelf, would require careful planning and effort. This is because our muscles would need to work much harder to overcome the force of gravity. Exercise routines would need to be adjusted to account for the increased resistance, and physical fitness would become even more crucial for maintaining health. In a high-gravity world, staying active and strong would be essential for survival. Our bodies are amazing. They are capable of incredible feats and can adapt to a wide range of environments and conditions. From the way we move to the way we grow, our bodies are constantly changing and evolving to meet the demands of our surroundings. Imagine if we lived in a high-gravity world, where the force pulling us down was much stronger than it is now. Over time, our bodies would adapt to this new environment. Our bones, for instance, would become denser and stronger to withstand the increased stress and pressure. This adaptation would be crucial for our survival in such a challenging environment. Our bones would become denser to withstand the increased stress. This means that the structure of our bones would change, becoming thicker and more robust. This would help prevent fractures and other injuries that could occur from the constant pressure of a high-gravity environment. It's fascinating to think about how our skeletal system could evolve to meet these new demands. In addition to our bones, our muscles would also need to adapt. They would grow larger and stronger to help us move and function in a high-gravity world. This increased muscle mass would be necessary to perform everyday tasks, from walking to lifting objects. Our bodies would essentially become more powerful and resilient. This would allow us to move around more easily in the stronger gravitational field. Imagine trying to walk or run in an environment where everything feels much heavier. Our enhanced muscles and denser bones would make it possible to navigate this challenging terrain with greater ease and efficiency. Over many generations, humans might even evolve to be shorter and stockier. This body type would be more suited to a high-gravity environment, as it would provide a lower center of gravity and greater stability. Shorter limbs and a more compact frame would help us maintain balance and reduce the risk of falling. This would give us a lower center of gravity, making us less likely to topple over. In a high-gravity world, maintaining balance would be crucial, and a lower center of gravity would help us stay upright and steady. This adaptation would be essential for our safety and mobility. We'd be like super strong, compact humans. Our bodies would be perfectly adapted to the high-gravity environment, making us incredibly resilient and powerful. It's amazing to think about how our bodies could change and evolve to meet the challenges of a new world. The possibilities are truly endless. Buildings are designed to withstand the force of gravity, but in a high-gravity world, we'd need some serious architectural changes. Buildings would need to be shorter and wider, with much stronger foundations. We'd need new materials that are both lightweight and incredibly strong. Skyscrapers as we know them would be impossible. Imagine trying to build a skyscraper that could support twice its weight. It's like trying to balance a pencil on its tip. Section 5. Short stacks and deep roots plant life under high gravity. Plants rely on gravity too. Just like humans and animals, plants have evolved to live in the gravitational conditions of Earth. Gravity plays a crucial role in their growth and development. It influences the direction in which they grow, both above and below the ground. The phenomenon known as gravitropism is what guides the upward growth of stems and the downward growth of roots. This natural response ensures that plants can access sunlight and nutrients efficiently. They grow upwards towards the sun, and their roots grow downwards into the soil. This dual growth pattern is essential for their survival. The stems and leaves reach for the light which is necessary for photosynthesis, while the roots anchor the plant and absorb water and minerals from the soil. This balance is delicate and finely tuned to the gravitational pull of our planet. In a high-gravity world, plants would face a tough challenge. The increased gravitational force would make it much more difficult for them to grow tall and slender. Instead, they would need to adapt to the stronger pull by developing different structural characteristics. The struggle to stay upright would be immense, especially in windy conditions or under the weight of their own foliage. It would be much harder for them to grow tall. Plants in high-gravity environments would likely be shorter and more robust. Their growth patterns would shift to prioritize stability over height. This means that instead of reaching for the sky, they would spread out more horizontally, staying closer to the ground to avoid toppling over. Trees would likely be much shorter and wider, with very deep root systems. These deep roots would be essential for anchoring the plants securely in the soil, preventing them from being uprooted by the increased gravitational force. The roots would also need to be more extensive to support the plant's nutritional needs, as the surface area for absorption would be crucial in such a demanding environment. Their branches would need to be thicker to support the weight of leaves and fruits. In a high-gravity world, the structural integrity of plants would be paramount. Thicker branches would help distribute the weight more evenly, reducing the risk of breakage. This adaptation would ensure that the plants could still bear fruit and produce seeds, continuing their life cycle despite the challenging conditions. Imagine a forest of short, sturdy trees, their branches drooping under the weight of gravity. Such a forest would look vastly different from the ones we are familiar with. The trees would be more compact, with a dense network of roots and thick, heavy branches. This unique adaptation would create a landscape that is both fascinating and resilient, showcasing the incredible ability of plants to survive and thrive in even the most extreme conditions. Section 6. The lowdown on locomotion, animals adapting to a weightier world. Animals would also need to adapt to a high-gravity world. Birds might find it very difficult to fly. They would need much larger wings and stronger muscles to generate enough lift. Land animals would likely be smaller and stockier, with strong legs and a low center of gravity. Imagine elephants the size of cows, or horses built like tanks. This would help them to move around and support their weight. Section 7. A thick atmosphere. Gravity doesn't just hold us down, it holds down our atmosphere. In a higher gravity world, the atmosphere would be denser. This means more air molecules packed closer together. This could have some interesting effects. The sky might appear more blue. Sunsets might be more vibrant. Sound might travel differently. It would be like living in a world that's always slightly pressurized. Section 8. Reaching for the stars. Space travel challenges in a high-gravity world. Escaping a planet's gravity is hard. We use powerful rockets to launch spacecraft into orbit. In a high-gravity world, space travel would be even more challenging. We'd need much more powerful rockets to overcome the increased gravitational pull. Spacecraft would need to be lighter and more aerodynamic. Space travel would be even more expensive and difficult than it is today. Section 9. Gravity's grip. A universe of possibilities. Gravity is a fundamental force that shapes our universe. Exploring what would happen if gravity were stronger helps us understand its importance. It's a fun thought experiment that leads to all sorts of interesting possibilities. While a high-gravity world might present challenges, it would also be a world of incredible adaptations and wonders. It's a universe ripe for exploration, both in our imaginations and in the vast expanse of space.